All right, Scott Sapanic, we're back at you. You have got, right now, this is the situation. You have got literally the four horsemen that continue to ride. You have the white, the red, the black, and the pale. Now, the white is that horseman goes forth, conquering with a bow, conquering and to conquer, conquering and to conquer. Now, this is stealth. A lot of these things, people think, well, you're gonna see, if you're gonna go the linear literalist vantage point or view or methodology, that you're literally gonna see the four horsemen. They're gonna be galloping. They'll be great big horses. The riders will be big, majestic, and they'll be bad, real bad. So they literally believe, especially the pre-tribulation, 7-year dispensational rapture cultists. They literally believe that you will see. They have to. We'll prove the point here in a minute. That you literally will have to see a rider of the white horse be seated on that horse with a bow. What do you do with a bow? Going forth, conquering and to conquer. So we've explained this many times before. You have the initial effect, in this case, with the conquering, and the finality of and to conquer. The finality, the coup de grace, finishing blow, if you will. Now, with that bow, and this is where the sinister part comes in, because a lot of people think, oh yeah, you're going to see this with that bow. The original etymology on the word arrows is toxon and or bow, with poison-tipped arrows. Now, what have they been doing for a few years now with the poison-tipped arrows? Don't they load up, in this case, a syringe and go into your arm? Oh, you don't think it's possible? You don't think that correlation exists with the rider of the first horse? Think again. How about the rider of the second horse, which is red, going forth with a sword, taking peace from the earth? If you look at the news right now, you will see conclusively that Israel, the modern day state of Israel, with a 6-point star, 6 points, 6 inner triangles, 6 unilateral sides, that one? The name and number of a man? The star of who? Can't you see it? Oh, you're not talking about the chosen people, are you? No, unless you go to John Hagee's church in San Antonio. Oh, they're the chosen people. Can't talk about them, not disparagingly. Oh, no. Taking peace from the earth. It's about ready to go full-blown hot, the situation in Israel right now. But they have a common denominator that is not very favorable to their logistics. They cannot fight a multi-theater front war. Again, they cannot fight a multi-theatered front war. Not with 4 or 5 fronts. Oh no, they're going to need for somebody else to enter into that equation, especially with Hezbollah and Lebanon. Then the Syrians get involved. Then Iran gets involved. Then Russia gets involved. Oh, what does that rider do? He goes forth with a sword, taking peace from the earth. Isn't that exactly what we're saying right now? What about the financial system? Isn't that the rider of the third horse, black, with a pair of scales in its hand? A measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil nor the wine. Isn't that what you're saying right now? Gold, silver is breaking out. It's breaking through the roof. Look out. It's going to points of no return. It's breaking out. And so look at the Dow. The Dow is going up and up and up and up and up and up. But what happens? Because there's a metaphoric application to all of this that has nothing to do with what Alan Greenspan, the Fed chairman of years and years ago, said. He called it irrational exuberance. In other words, it's going to hit a stall point, then it's going to come crashing down. But see thou hurt not the oil nor the wine. It's highly metaphoric. That's a whole different discussion right there. The oil is the oil of the Holy Spirit. The wine is the joy, very metaphorically applied, application-wise. That horse is galloping as well. Or what about this is where he really gets ominous. This is where all of the culmination, where the orchestration, if you will, of the prior 3 seals really comes into play, is with the rider of the 4th horse. Death, capital D, with hell, capital H, following. Death and hell. Death of the body and hell of the spirit. We're for the spirit. Oh, well, there'll be an Antichrist. No, the Antichrist is already here. It came out of the abyss. When did that happen? Could it have happened in 1948? We're giving hints, dropping breadcrumbs. in 1948. The beast that was, is not. That went away from AD 66 to 70 AD. That was, is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. That beast is already here. People don't see it. They don't see the nomenclature of its representation or the significance of its namesake. They just can't see it. They just can't. Or they don't want to. Or they've given away their birthright. Whichever. Like it says in 2 Thessalonians about the great deception and the great falling away. Oh no, it can't be our church. Oh no, we got our license to do business from the state that created that license for us to do business as a tax-exempt entity in the likeness of the license that created us to do business. Not rendering unto Caesar what Caesar. Oh no, can't be that. So you want to talk Antichrist? Let's talk Antichrist. Anti in place of or diminishing the finished work of Jesus Christ on the cross. That is Antichrist. But people don't see it. They just don't see it. We've been preaching this, talking about this, putting this forward for many years now on different platforms. People don't want to see it. They just don't. Let's go to Revelation. Because we're talking about one of its heads that were wounded. Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome. Because if you take the linear literalist view, you will see, according to that view, you will see, according to them, the so-called, as it's represented here in Revelation 13, the beast that rises up out of the sea with the 7 heads, 10 horns, and 10 crowns upon the horns. So then if we drop down a little later on, and we're going to read it right now, we're going to read it. And I saw one of its heads, this is 13:3, and I saw one of his heads, one of his heads. Not the Antichrist, not the physical manifestation of the Antichrist, not the anthropomorphized assigning human-like qualities to your so-called Antichrist physicality of it. No, it's one of his heads. Are we making this super explanatory and clear enough? And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. Again, Revelation 17. The beast that was, is not, shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. There you go. And his deadly wound was healed. And all of the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Exactly. You see it going on right now. We are on the cusp, the verge, riding the wave that far from the full onslaught, the full effect of the 4 seals all coming together. Then it goes into the 5th seal, where the souls under the altar cried out, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not avenge our death on those who dwell upon the earth? And they were given white robes and told to wait a little while longer until their fellow servants should be killed as they. The 6th seal is the exact ramification, explanation, and explicit terms of a nuclear holocaust. 7th seal is silence for the space of half an hour in heaven. That we've said this many times before. The 6th seal, the 7th trumpet, and the 7th vial. The 6th seal, 7th trumpet, and the 7th vial all have one commonality. They all end in the wrath of God. We're really condensing this. If you haven't heard it, rewind the tape, as I used to say in the old days, with the VHSs and all that sort of stuff. If you go back that far, you probably don't. Rewind it, watch it again. Christ comes back exactly when he says he comes back. Second coming, right before Armageddon, which is Revelation 16:16. He comes back in Revelation 16:15. And again, Armageddon is 16:16. Right before Armageddon is when Christ comes back. There is not 2 second comings. There's only 1 second coming. So don't try to divide it up. We know all your arguments. You pre-trib, 7-year dispensational, rapture, cultists. You number in the millions. We understand that. But most of you don't even know what you believe. You don't. We're telling you the truth. It may be unsavory, unpalatable, and all of the above, but at least it's the truth. Let's get down to, here it is. Okay, we'll wrap it up here in about 2 mics. Revelation 13:4. And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who can make war with or against him? 13:5. And now we're going to get into the time frame a little bit here, which will help put things together, because it gives the kickoff, if you will, the very noticeable kickoff of when the point, the demarcation point, like we say in the military. or the point of no return, when the gauntlet has been thrown for the entire world. This is where everything that's going on right now has been a ramp up. This is the gauntlet. Right here. And 13:5. And there was given him a mouse speaking great things. Just like you see on a world stage right now. Exactly like you see on a world stage right now. Speaking great things and blasphemies. Exactly. Exactly. And power was given unto him. Here we go. This is it. This is it. Right here. The fuse has already been lit. Here it is. To continue 42 months. 42 months. That is exactly 3.5 years, because they had a 30-day lunar calendar based on what was it, the wheat, barley, and the moon, and all of that sort of thing, and then they would add the month of Adair to it. But it was based on a 30-day lunar calendar. So 42 months is 3.5 years. You also see the same representation of that in other places. There is no 7 years. You've taken the things of Christ, his first 3.5 years, into that 7 years, that last week of Daniel's 70 weeks. You pre-trib, rapture, cultists, dispensational. The last week did not detach and go flying through the air to land on you. It was already gone into. So if it was already gone into, then that was in fulfillment, which leaves the last half of the last week of 3.5 years. That's it right there. It's also represented as 1,260 days times dividing of a time. It all comes out to the same equation. 3.5 years. Period. Period. That's when all hell breaks loose. That's when the international apple cart has been turned over. Not to mix metaphors. It's like Humpty Dumpty. You can't put Humpty Dumpty after the shell has already fallen off the wall and cracked. You can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. It's done. That sequence, that last interchange sequence, has or will be broached. It'll be gone into. That is the point that we're at right now. So when that happens, then you will see death and hell, the rider of the fourth horse, the fourth pale horse, galloping, no pun intended, literally like there's no tomorrow. That's how bad it will get. We're not here to scare you. No, we're here to inform you so that you can get prepared to get yourself in a position to be supernaturally chosen, blessed, and favored as chosen Israel. If you want to look up who is a Jew, look up Romans 2:28 and 29. We need to remember, it also says in Romans, we've said this many times before, not all Israel is Israel. It also says, these of the flesh, these are not the children of God, but these of the promise are counted for the seed. That seed is of one. Christ is the new Israel. That spiritual rebirth was translated over, having transformed over, and having passed over as a Passover, the perfect Passover at the cross, when it went from the physical to the spiritual. This is what we need to understand. This is what we need to get a hold of. Please, get yourself in a position to be supernaturally chosen, blessed, and favored. This is the beauty of it. The race requirements were done away with at the cross. Any race can be part of that chosen status. To whom much is given, we'll leave you with this thought. To whom much is given, much is required. Much is required. Love you guys. Stay remnant. If you're remnant, get this message. Help get this message out to other people. Spread the word. Spread the message. And get prepared. Get prepared and get blessed. Get sealed. This is what this is all about. It's getting properly sealed. And we could talk a long time about the sealing that goes on. That is reminiscent in the true message of Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, places like that. This is what we need to know, need to apply, and get incorporated as that spiritual entity. Cry out to God. Get yourself in a position to be supernaturally chosen, blessed, and favored as spiritual Israel. Born again Israel. Love you guys. We'll talk soon.